It was the pit stop heard round the world this past weekend at Darlington. New choreography, and the 11 team executes it perfectly. The Jackman with the behind the back move puts that car in victory lane. And we've got Joel the Jackman here today to talk all about that race winning move. Plus, our buddy Rocko, former pit crew member, pit crew specialist, is here to help break it all down too. Rocko, Joel, thank you guys both for making the time today. Before we get talking shop here, though, Joel, please help us both. Give us the pronunciation of your last name, because I was going to give it a stab, but I have a feeling that I was going to butcher it. So to give you the proper introduction, Joel, how do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah.
It's Bouagnon. So you kind of want to pronounce it BWA and then like the end of like Sauvignon. So Bouagnon.
Bouagnon.
Yeah.
Very
But if you want the
sophisticated.
whole name, it's Joël Alexandre Bouagnon, which is
Okay,
it's a
well,
mouthful, but
I'm glad I let you introduce yourself then, because it is too beautiful of a name for me to have given it the old East Tennessee try. So thank you, Joel, for introducing yourself. I'm just going to call you Joel for today, if that's okay.
that works for me.
Race number 8, 5 wins between the JGR teams already. Joel, did you see this coming? Is this something, especially after the season that you had last year with the 11? You said you worked hard in the offseason. Did you see this coming to the point where your team was going to dominate this way?
I mean, we've put an incredible amount of work in. So I don't think you can ever predict and see that it's coming, but we definitely, I mean, we're working hard all off season. We're expecting to win. So um, the chips kind of fall where they do, and I'm just glad that when we've had the opportunities, we've capitalized on them, and the result is wins. But I don't. It's tough to say you could ever see it coming, but we have high standards. We definitely expect to win. So.
Everybody who watched that race, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, I'm trying to give you credit here, Rocco, because Joel said you're not going to be able to see it coming. But if there was
Yep.
any of us on the call here, Rocco has had his eye on pit road, and maybe not the way the race played out, but what you guys have been cooking up over there, he's maybe seen it coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with, the work you put in the off season, and everybody who watched that race saw the money stop when it was called upon, how important that was. Can you walk us through that moment, in that money stop and through your eyes possibly?
Yeah, so that's I mean, okay, when a race is starting to get to its final laps, and you're getting 10 away, we were just sitting in the back of our pit box. You just kind of try to stay calm, but everybody's looking at each other like if there's a caution, it's game over. Like everybody's got that silence in them. I'm like, just somebody mess up and give us a caution. And I remember sitting back there, but you're kind of helpless, right? You're waiting for it, and then all of a sudden you see the lights go, and it just goes like total silence, total confidence. Everybody just like battle stations, and we're just getting geared up. But it's the most calm feeling ever, where you've practiced, you practiced your butt off, and this is it right here. It's time to go to work. So it's a crazy feeling, and like I said, it's just you're not nervous. You're just extremely ready. This is exactly what you're here for. This is what everybody's dream is, and yeah, you got to live up to the moment. So I'm extremely proud of our group, and everybody executed like they needed to. But yeah, I think we all. It's hard to describe, but we've trained for it so hard. It's just like this is the moment, and you gotta either live up to it or let it slip past you. But
You got to be ready
it's
when that moment's called, it sounds like, a bet on yourself type attitude. And y'all did it when it mattered the most. And Denny said y'all were
100%,
vibing really, really well.
100%. Yeah, there's just a great sense of confidence with our group right now, and it's been going for the past 2 years. So we live for moments like these.
So after that race, Denny, he mentioned that Monday, that following Monday after that race, that he had a very good launch out of that box. He qualified well, which allowed him to pick that good box, pit box number 5. You had to open it out in front. What does that do for a pit crew athlete in the team when not only we know Denny utilizes every advantage on pit road, but having a box like that, how instrumental was that in your performance at the end of that race during that money stop?
That's actually it's huge. I would say that's something a lot of fans or people that that you don't know the ins and outs of it. That is detrimental to your stop. I mean, being able to park that car perfectly for us, not stopping too short, not stopping too long, it helps us attack that car like almost at a negative before he even stops. So that's one of those things you just don't understand unless you pick cars or unless you drive them. That's really, to me, it's everything. Being able to predict where it's going to stop, and then executing our job, and then obviously his launch out. It's tenths of seconds on pit road, and that will be the difference in a situation like that. So it's huge, and nobody sees it really, except finite few.
Well, Joel, going back to something you mentioned earlier about the mentality you have when you hit that moment, that now or never moment, it's time to go. You said calm, which is so funny because a lot of people would think that's when you're the most anxious, but you speak like a seasoned professional. And when you look at your resume, you go, "Oh, well, this guy has experience in the NFL." That's starting to make a little bit of sense now. So tell us more about your background and what you were able to learn from your background that helps you in where you are now as a Jackman.
Yeah, so background, I mean, I grew up playing a lot of sports, hockey, football, um, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I played football. Football is the one that really took off. I did really well in high school. I got a scholarship, went to Northern Illinois, did well there. Ended up getting signed as an undrafted free agent to the Chicago Bears, and then bounced around a little bit, and I landed in Green Bay, where I played for the entire 2018 season there. But throughout that entire career, it's definitely it's stressful, to say the least. Like you have to perform. There's a million eyes on you, plus cameras and all this stuff. They always say the eye in the sky don't lie, so there's no hiding from anything. And you just kind of learn to live under pressure. And the only thing I feel that gets you through pressure is preparation. And that's kind of what I use on pit road. Sometimes you can't exactly help when nerves hit you, and you'll get nervous for no reason randomly. But the thing that always helps me is I remember I'm like, okay, there's only two reasons you're really nervous. Either you're nervous because you care, or you're nervous because you're not ready. So I'm like, okay, which one of those is that? And then I always ask myself, I'm like, did you practice enough? Like, are you prepared for this moment? And the answer is like, absolutely. We've done enough of the work. So there's no getting nervous because you're doubting yourself. So that's thrown out the window. I'm like, so you're going to execute. So the only possibility here is success. Like there's if you put enough work in, that's kind of in my mind, you got your doubts, you got your fears, and one by one you can pick them off. You're like, are you scared because you're not ready? I'm like, no, you practiced your butt off. That's not going to happen. This isn't going to happen. So the only thing left is to go out there and execute and perform like you can. So you're just nervous because it's a big moment, and that's okay. But there's no fear whatsoever. You just care a lot about it, and that's the only nerve, and it gets squished by the time the car actually comes in. That's there's a tiny bit of nerves when you're standing on the wall and you're waiting for the pit road to actually
The
open. But I mean, as soon
butterflies.
as yeah, butterflies, yeah. As soon as you hear that it's open, I mean, I wish I had a heart monitor on. It's got to be like almost at resting. You're just like you just know what's gonna happen, and I don't mean that in a cocky way. It's just like you've done this so many times. You're an absolute like expert at your craft. It's almost improbable that it's not going to go right. You got your guys, everyone's got each other's back. It's
That's
just
the
like let's
mindset you
execute
have to
this.
have. You have to
Yeah,
have that mindset.
It's
yeah,
the mentality, the mindset of an athlete. Clearly, the way that you
hmm
talk, it is no question that you were an athlete, and clearly a multi-sport athlete at that. But on top of that, you also have this other side of you that seems to be very artistic when it comes to things like interior design. You're smiling. Did I just crack into the softer side of Joel?
yeah. That's the that's my when Sunday's over and I get to come back to my house. I'm just always trying to decorate and renovate. Yeah, I don't know how
Talk
that
about it.
happened.
Talk your is, Joe. What have you done? Where how many have you bought? What are you doing? What's your design on it? And what's your take? Ultimately,
So
what's your vision of your design?
my vision of my design, this is very complex. So I live in an old mill loft. It's actually the old like Lance Cracker factory in South End, which is kind of funny. But my design in this one specifically, it's an old exterior. Like you see a lot of brick and steel and really aggressive materials. And the inside, I want to kind of make the opposite of that. A lot of like I don't know if you can see. I just want to make it like nice, easy leather and softer materials on the inside. So I've kind of like want
Hmm.
to do the opposite of what this is. And so I don't know how it happens, but you're just kind of living in it, and then you kind of see the vision, and slowly but surely, you're kind of piecing one thing after another, and it comes to fruition.
All right, Joel. Seems like you're living the life. Now, let's dive into that a little bit. In the next 5 years, give me two goals, one on track and one personal that you would like to achieve for yourself.
Um, on track, obviously, the big one is a championship. As many championships as we can have. I know DH doesn't have it, so I'd like to be part of that. I'd like to be,
Yeah.
you know, a part of winning that championship. That would be amazing. But personally, in that NASCAR side, I for as long as I'm involved on a NASCAR pit crew, I want to be the best on pit road. So you're saying in 5 years, I want to be 5 years consecutive, undisputed, the best Jackman on pit road and the best pit crew on pit road. So that's definitely the goal. Um, and I'm going to make it happen. And personal goal in 5 years. This is one that's been for sure since I was a kid. I didn't ever like being told what to do and I didn't want to do it. So I want to be in charge of my time. That's kind of it. Now what that means is, essentially financially, you got to be financially independent from any employer whatsoever. So that's, I got to work on my own personal goals and real estate goals and kind of separate myself. But yeah, that's to make it short. Yeah, that's the biggest power I think you could have in life is to be in charge of your time. So that's what I intend to do in 5 years. That'd be a great goal to have. And you can just go where you want, when you want, and do whatever you want.
Well, you're already off to a great start in that. It seems like I'm anxious to see where you are in 5 years. Joel, Rocko, thank you guys so much for the time and the insight. Always appreciated. And Joel, best of luck this weekend. Going back to
Thank you,
Bristol,
Jessie.
where DH
Appreciate
found
it.
victory lane last year. We'll see if that team can make it 3 in a row for 11. So be sure you're always keeping up with things on pit road because those guys keep it interesting, both on and clearly off the racetrack too. And keep up with Joel on Instagram and all social medias right here. Here's his handle. And keep up with me. I'll see you guys on Friday. That's it for today. But be sure to watch NASCAR Daily on the NASCAR YouTube channel or the NASCAR Tubi channel or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. That's it for Wednesday. I'll see you Friday. Bye.